All right, guys, good morning. Is the second podcast today. It's Sunday, August 7th, 2022. It's the MMAOB Daily Podcast. And this is the UFC San Diego Preview, Marcel. We got, obviously, our co-host here, Big Marcel. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin. We're taking you through UFC San Diego, Vera, Cruz. Should be a good card. And then we're also going to talk about PFL, Marcel, and Contender Series, and Bellator. So there's a lot to talk about on this podcast. We're going to give our in-depth picks and stuff and predictions for UFC, and then for the other cards, we'll kind of go through it quickly. I didn't have as much time, obviously, to really study those cards as much. But this UFC card, definitely looking forward to talking about with you. So, Marcel, just your quick thoughts on this card initially.
Very rough card, to be really honest, dude. I think, let's be really honest, if Vera against Cruz gets canceled for whatever reason, let's hope it doesn't happen for whatever reason. UFC's fucked, dude. The UFC is fucked if that fight gets canceled because there is no proper main event that can be here on this card. You know, if you have, listen, all respect to Nate Landwehr and David Onama to have it as a co-main event, but that's not a main event fight. The original co-main event against Grasso against Araujo was a fun one, you know, but also not main event worthy in my opinion. You know, you have only. If you look at this card, you have only one fight that's for sure should be on the main card, and that's Cruz against Vera. All these other fights there are some fun fights in between it, don't get me wrong, but aren't like clear-cut main card fights. You know what I mean? So It's like I'm really shocked with what the UFC put together for in front of a crowd in San Diego, to be really honest. They're fully banking on Dominick Cruz to sell out that crowd in front of his own crowd, in his hometown. So
yeah,
that's difficult, man. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm definitely gonna watch. You know, we all watch everything, and I hope it's a fun card. But on paper, this card it's really thin, in my opinion.
Yeah, it did lose a lot of fights. I mean, we have to mention that, obviously. A lot of fights got scrapped, so it is what it is. I mean, they did add some fights in late, Marcel. They moved some fights up and stuff, short notice fights, but you're right. I mean, I think the main card is not bad personally, but some of the prelims are like bottom of the barrel fights, to be honest with you. Anyways, let's get to the comments here. Good morning, gentlemen. I just bet all 12 UFC San Diego fights do not go the distance. I mean, there's a good chance at least like half of them probably don't. But I think this is in a bigger cage, right? It is, right, Marcel?
Yeah, in front of the crowd. Right? Yes, yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Antoine? How's it going, man? Hey, Glenn, what's up? He says in California, they do like the salaries. They give them out. What's your guess for Cruz or Vera? Cruz, probably like 200K, like flat, I would say something like that. And then Vera, like 150 to show and like another 150 to win. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they get a little bit more. But I would assume like at least 100 to 200 at the lowest end. Anything, Marcel?
I think Cruz should at least get 300 or 400. To be really honest, dude.
I
don't think he does, but I think he should get. In my opinion, he's still the bantamweight goat. So yeah, that's what I think of Vera. Vera is on the upside, you know, so he will get more by every fight. I think. Yeah, but like I want to reply to George Gennaro there, which says GM3 Silva definitely main card worthy. I mean, I don't say it's not main card worthy. You know, I think Clark Mirzakanov is main card worthy as well, for example. But the thing is, like, those are not clear-cut main card fights. You know what I mean? Clear-cut main card fights is a Vera against Cruz, a Vicente Luque against Jeff Neal, like yesterday, main event. Grasso via Viviane Araujo is a clear-cut main card fight. But that could also be a featured prelim, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's a main card fight, but could be featured prelim as well on the UFC card because, you know, the UFC got some weird bout orders, dude. You know?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's what I figured, Glenn. I said 200, but I guess 300 makes sense. But again, we don't know, right? They don't tell us, except for, I guess, this card. All right, let's get into it. Let me get this card quickly. If Angela Hills loses, what do you think will happen? I think they like her, even though she's 500. The UFC likes her, so they'll keep her around, I think. All right, let's get into it, guys. Okay, so we got to start with the fights that got canceled from last week's card, and they got moved to this card. So really, my prediction is not going to change, but we'll just quickly go through them. The first fight that got canceled last week was Ariane Lipski against Priscila Cachoeira. Lipski showed up off of weight. She missed weight 129, or 128.5, actually, after she disrobed. And the fight got scrapped. I believe they did agree to a 20% like purse deduction, and then the fight got canceled. I'm not sure how it works. Like, I don't know if they'll give them show money, or at least Cachoeira show money because she did make weight, or if they're just going to be like, all right, you guys are fighting next week. I do know this fight's at 135.
What do you think?
I think they'll probably just be like, well, you guys are going to fight next week. We're not going to give you any more money. But anyways, I think Cachoeira should get extra because Lipski missed weight. So I feel like she should get something extra. Anyways, it's at 135. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, I mean, my thoughts don't really change from last week. I think it's a close fight. I lean Cachoeira. I'm going to lean towards her once again, Marcel, but it's not like I'm, confident in this fight. It's the odds, by the way, minus 185 on Lipski, plus 160 on Cachoeira. Have your thoughts changed? The same after the bad weight cut? Anything?
No, it's actually funny because the two fights we picked differently on the last card, they got canceled and got moved to this card.
Actually, it's kind of funny, yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm picking Lipski by decision, but I'm not sure. Far from sure. I think Lipski hasn't been fulfilling her hype since coming over from KSW. And for Cachoeira, she's also mediocre, to be really honest, dude. She got some wins in the UFC, like against Kim, a fight that she shouldn't have won, in my opinion. And a fight against Mazani, she got help from Mike Beltran in that fight. And I love Mike Beltran. I think he's an amazing ref. So super difficult, man. Don't put your money on this one, guys. I mean, I think Lipski is a favorite here, probably. But definitely don't put your money on this fight because both are way too inconsistent to bet on, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. And then the next fight is Jason Witt against Josh Quinlan, Marcel. That's the next one here.
Yeah.
Again, we don't have confirmation this fight's going to take place because what happened was Josh Quinlan tested positive again. But there might be a way for him to still fight in a different state. And obviously, he can't fight in Vegas right now in Nevada, but he might be able to fight in California. This is not 100% sure thing. If the fight takes place, the odds will be minus 250 for Quinlan, plus 210 on Witt. So even more of an underdog on Witt than he was last week. I guess now that we know this guy's tested positive again, this guy can't pass a drug test. I mean, what use is he to the UFC, Marcel, if he can't pass a drug test? That's my question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to pick Jason Witt here at plus 210. He might get nuked in the next year by this guy who's been genetically engineered in the lab, apparently, but I think, again, Marcel, if he doesn't get knocked out, I think he'll win decision. So that's my pick. I'll stick with it. If the fight takes place, I'll go with Witt again. I'm assuming you go with Quinlan again?
Yeah, I'm taking Genghis Khan in the first round with a knockout. But, you asked me, I think, like, are you confident he's going to win after this? I was like, I'm confident he's winning, but I'm not confident the win will stand, after the fight. But, I'm taking Quinlan, first round knockout here. Yeah.
A Loco is asking if the Lipski thing is Ali like not being smart and not getting her the 20% deduction by fighting the next week. I don't think so. She was in the hospital from what I heard, so I don't think so. But maybe it's not Bantor. He's asking about Dominick Cruz. Would he win? We get another title shot if he wins? Possibly, very very possible. But it's a hard fight for him. All right, let's get to the new fights finally, Marcel. We'll get into some new fights here.
Yeah.
Let's start it off. Again, I'm using a Tapology order, guys, so it's a little different than what you see on UFC stats, just because like some of these fights are going to get flipped around. All right, let's start with this fight here, Marcel. Youssef Zalal against Damon Blackshear. This is a bantamweight fight, Marcel. That's correct? Bantamweight fight. Okay, so that's interesting. Odds for this one right now. Let's pull them up here. It's a pick'em. It's minus 110 each. So very difficult fight to predict. Obviously, Damon Blackshear making his UFC debut here on kind of short notice, and Youssef Zalal. He is dropping down to bantamweight, so that's interesting. He hasn't fought in over a year now, dropping down a weight class. Marcel, start us off here, man. Who do you think wins this fight?
This is a difficult one, to be really honest, man. I think Damon Blackshear, he got signed, I think last week to in a short notice because Youssef Zalal was supposed to fight Christian Quinones. Quinones had some visa issues, so that didn't happen. I like Blackshear a lot, man. He's the CFFC champion, right? He looked good in this overall in his fights. Got a loss on his records against Sabatello and against Sabatini. Well, those are not bad losses at all, I think. If you look at Youssef Zalal, man, very good start in the UFC, looked really good, and then kind of didn't pull the trigger anymore, man, in my opinion, And you called it very well on those fights, I think. I think we both called it the Puria fight, but you called the Woodson fight, for example. So now he's dropping down to bantamweight. We'll see how that goes. I think, man, this will be kind of a close fight, man, to be honest. I don't think, because Blackshear is a new guy on short notice, that he will be that Zalal will walk over him easily. I don't think that will happen. I'm actually picking Blackshear here, man, to get a win. I think about decision.
I don't blame you. I mean, I feel like this. I think the odds are right on. Pick 'em fight is what it is. This is a very difficult fight to predict, in my opinion. Like, Blackshear is pretty good. I watched his fights recently, Marcel, the CFFC fights. Like, he looked good. Great ground game, as we know. Like, really nasty on the ground. Here's the thing, though. Like, Zalal has 6 fights in the UFC. And he's actually the younger fighter. He's only 25. Not only that, but he's also dropping down in weight. And I think because he's so young, he can make that weight class move. I am worried about the layoff. He hasn't fought in over a year, but I'm assuming he's been doing that because he's been trying to get the weight down the right way. So this is another one. I think, take a look at the weigh-ins to see how he looks on the scale. And also Blackshear taking on short notice. That's something to keep in mind. I'm surprised almost they didn't do it at a catch weight or something, Marcel, to be honest with you. Very hard fight to call. I honestly could see it going either way. Slight leans Zalal because of its experience in the UFC, and that's it. I mean, it's extremely difficult. I think the thing is, Blackshear's a grappler, and Zalal is actually not a bad grappler himself. I think he can cancel it out kind of and be the better striker. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. But honestly, like, Blackshear is a good grappler, and if he's able to out-grapple this guy, it wouldn't completely shock me. That's why I would stay away from it. But Zalal by decision is my pick, Marcel. It's not a confident pick, though. If Yazmin knocks out Devin Clark, could DeBron cut? I don't think so. We'll talk about him in a few minutes as well. Yeah, I did see the Blackshear line changed, so. I mean, yeah, people are obviously betting on him, and I don't blame them. Marcel likes him here. I don't blame him at all. I mean, he's not bad. All right, let's get to the next fight, Marcel. Again, using the Tapology list, they have Hill versus Godinez next, Marcel. I don't know if that's correct, but
I also don't know. The prelims are not 100%
no worries
order yet, so
it might switch off. Someone's listening to the podcast later on. They're wondering why we're talking about this fight next, just because that's the order right now at 11 a.m. on Sunday morning. Okay,
it got dropped from the main card to the prelims, at least. That's for sure.
Yeah, it did. Okay. So the problem with this fight is I don't have odds for it. I don't know why there's no odds for this fight, guys, but there's no odds yet. So that's kind of weird. Not sure why, but I'm going to assume that Loopy Godinez will be the favorite in this fight, Marcel, against Angela Hill. I would peg her around like a -250 favorite, something like that. That's my guess. She'll open around that price. Again, we don't have odds. We're just going on by our guess here. This fight was supposed to take place in October. They moved it up. Angela Hill is fighting in her backyard here in San Diego. That's something she has going for her, but she doesn't have a lot of other things going for her, including 3 straight losses, 5 of 6 losses in her last 6 fights. Godinez obviously on a roll, looked amazing in her last fight. 3 of 4 wins for her last 4 fights. I like Godinez in this fight, Marcel. I think she just takes Angela Hill down, dominates her on the ground. Probably doesn't finish her. Angela Hill's super tough. I think Godinez is a decision, but that's my pick, man, and she's definitely someone I would consider betting on. I really like this girl, and I think she wins this fight. What do you think?
Godinez takes her down and keeps her down for 3 rounds, I think. Yep. It's also at 120, right? It's at catch weight because they was supposed to fight in October, but they wanted to have Angela Hill. They needed extra fights for this card, and Angela Hill is fighting out of San Diego. So
exactly, that's the only reason they moved up. And this is at catch weight too, at 120, right?
120,
120 pounds. I should mention that as well. So yeah, Godinez wins. I mean, I think
as well. I would be surprised if Hill can keep it standing and win. So I go with Godinez as well.
They moved it up because I guess it's Hill's hometown fight. I don't think it'll be a retirement. Maybe, but I don't think so. The line, like I said, it probably like -250, maybe something like that. Like it's between -2 and 300. Maybe it's more, but I think
would be fair.
Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, Angela Hill's not bad, so it's not like you can completely like counter out her. But like, I don't think she'll win the fight. I don't like the matchup for her.
The thing with Angela Hill is that she can make it competitive with a lot of these women in the top 15.
And she's hard to submit, Marcel. She's actually very hard to submit. She showed that in the last fight. Remember, like Jandiroba had her in a bunch of different holds, and she wasn't able to get her out of there. So. My thoughts on that. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We got Ode Osbourne against Tyson Nam. This fight was also another one kind of booked like short notice. Like they had like a month maybe. Like I don't even know if they had even a month. But Ode Osbourne, let's take a look at his odds. He is the favorite here, Marcel. -230, +195. Tyson Nam. You like Osbourne in this one?
Yeah, I like Ozzy's son. I think. Sorry, dude, had to say it. I really like Ode Osbourne. I think he has looked decent, in a lot of his fights. I know he got knocked out by Manel Kape, but I think he's a decent fighter. He's getting better every time I see him, I think. And Tyson Nam is the kind of guy that can surprise people. I remember him knocking out Ali Bagautinov in Fight Nice Global in the last second of the fight, where he was losing. He also got that win over Eduardo Dudu Dantas, I think, when Dudu was the champion in Bellator, but it was outside of Bellator, that fight. Nam can always surprise, but I think Ode is the better fighter overall. I'm taking Ode here. I don't know if with a finish, but we will get a win for Ode Osbourne, and he will say Ode, 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 Ode again after the fight.
Yeah, I think you got to go with Osbourne too. I mean, I think he's the better fighter at this point. But Tyson Nam does surprise every now and then, Marcel. There's no doubt about it. He's very durable too. He's hard to finish. But if anyone's going to finish, it would probably be Ode Osbourne, right? Like he's just kind of a finisher. That's how he does it. So I would assume he probably gets him out of there, Marcel. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. It's a flyweight fight, so typically less finishes in this division, but I think if anyone's going to finish the fight, it'll be Ode Osbourne. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at this one, Marcel. I think he keeps it standing out, strikes him, probably knocks him out. I mean, that's kind of what I think. Yeah, fight doesn't go the distance. Ode Osbourne's fight rarely go the distance. Like, they just don't. Tyson Nam is tough, though, guys. Like, he's only been knocked out once, Marcel, in his whole career? Let me double check that. I know Marlon Moraes knocked him out. Let me double check. Tyson Nam has been stopped. Okay, 3 knockout losses. Okay, that makes me feel even better about it. Yeah, I got to go with Ode Osbourne knockout. That's the way I'm going with this one. Yeah. All right, let's get to the next fight here. We got Gabriel Benitez against Sideshow Bob, Charlie Ontiveros. I'm surprised they gave Charlie another fight. Like I'm shocked almost. This is at 155. We should mention that. So Benitez moving up in weight, and Ontiveros again staying at this weight class. Although I don't know how he makes this weight cut. Benitez, one of the biggest favorites in the card, Marcel. Minus 345. Plus 285 on Charlie. I mean, Benitez should absolutely smoke him, Marcel. I'm just going to say it right now. I think he knocks him out in the first round. I don't think this fight's close. Give me Gabriel Benitez all day, man. I don't think Charlie Ontiveros should be in the UFC. He does have some power. There's no doubt about it. But I don't think he's going to be able to catch Benitez too fast. Benitez by knockout, Marcel. What do you like it?
I think the same way, man. I don't think Sideshow Bob gets the win here. I think Benitez wins. I also have him win the knockout in the first round. Yeah, I think he's much more talented. He's a better fighter overall, and I would be surprised if Charlie wins here. So I'm taking Benitez here as well. I think,
Ontiveros by first round knockout, no question. Is he dangerous early and Benitez gets hurt in round 1? Maybe, but I just don't think he's fast enough and durable enough for this weight class, man. I think the first punch that lands on him, he's going to get KO'd himself. The guy's just Mr. Glass, Marcel. Like, he gets injured or hurt in every fight. It's pretty crazy. All right. Although, again, Benitez, he's not exactly the most defensively sound guy, but I just think he's got a lot of power. All right, let's get to the next fight. We got Lukasz Brzeski against Martin Buday. That's Loco's favorite fighter, Marcel, Martin Buday. Always asks about him, so he's fighting again against the other contenders too. Guy Lukasz Brzeski, who I believe is coming off a PED suspension himself, Marcel. So he had a no contest in his last fight. All right, let's get the odds for this one. Buday minus 240, Brzeski plus 200. What do you think?
You go first in this one.
I mean, Buday, I think, is legit. Like, he looked okay against Chris Barnett, obviously, before that weird finish. Like, really, he should have been disqualified, let's be honest. Like, I don't really understand why it was a decision after they said it was they're like an intentional foul or something. I was just like, the way you described it was weird. Anyways.
We are not in agreement with this one, by the way, but okay.
Okay, that's fine. I think he's not bad. He looked pretty good in his hood too on the show. Brzeski, I'm just not sure. I mean, obviously he's got some good wins here, and he did look good against Dylan Potter, but Dylan Potter's not good at all. He's terrible, to be honest with you. And he tested positive after that fight too. That always worries me. That's always something that worries me. Martin Buday by TKO. That's my pick. What do you think?
I think the same way, man. I think Buday is a pretty good fighter. I gotta say, haven't been really impressed so far by him in the UFC, but he's done well. He got the win in the Contender Series against Lorenzo Werdehude and against Chris Barnett last time out.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I'm going to finish as well, a TKO in the second round. And again, I'm going to say it here again. I hope Michael Bisping is in the booth for this fight, because you got to say Buday.
It's funny.
Buday here.
Jason likes Buday better everywhere. I agree. What's up, Jason? All right, let's get to the next fight here. We got so you got, again, this order might be changed, but I'm using Topology's order. Yazmin Jauregui against Yazmin Lucindo. So 2 girls with basically the same first name, just spell it differently, which is interesting. So I got to be honest with you guys, I didn't know anything about these two, but I did watch their tape, and I think they're both decent, Marcel. I got to be honest with you. I'll start this one off to you, Marcel.
Yeah.
I think they're decent. I'll get the odds first, by the way. Jauregui minus 210, Lucindo plus 210, or plus 180, excuse me. So the odds actually went down because Jauregui opened at minus 260. So people are kind of, I guess there's some early action on Lucindo. Not a lot, but there's a little bit. All right, so let's start off. So I didn't know a lot about either one. So I watched the tape. So I started with Jauregui, and I think she's decent. I mean, she's only 23. She's pretty well-rounded. She has a pretty good ground game, pretty good gas tank. She has some power. Like, I think she's decent for sure. There's no doubt about it. But then I'm watching Lucindo, and I'm watching her fight. She's only 20 years old, first off. She's been fighting as a pro since she was 14 years old, okay? That's just insane. But, yes, it's true. She has 17 fights, and she's 20 years old. She does almost as many fights as she has years on this planet. That's insane. I'm just shocked by that. So I watched her fights. Again, you look at her record, 13-4, you're like, she's not that good. But, man, I got to be honest with you guys. I was impressed by her tape. She looked really good, guys. Like, great ground game, really dominant ground game, good striking too, very aggressive. I think they're both good fighters, but honestly, I think it's like a coin flip fight, man. I'm going to take this girl Lucindo, so I'm going to take a shot on her. I think she's very good. And again, 20 years old, 17 fights. Like, she's going to get better, and she's on an 7-fight win streak right now. She's looking good. I just think the only reason the odds are the high as they are is because people will look at the other girl's record and be like, oh, she's undefeated and this girl's lost. It's true she's lost, but she was like 15 years old when she lost. Like, her last loss was 3 years ago when she was 17 years old. She hasn't lost since she's turned 20. So I don't think she's bad, and I think her record is deceiving. There was that girl, what was her name? Natalia Silva. Remember her a few weeks ago? Or a few months ago, I should say.
Of course I remember her.
Yeah, you simped for her, Marcel. It's your girl. Same situation, guys. 13-5-1. Everyone's like, she has all these losses. But they were all at the beginning of her career. And she looked amazing. I feel like it's a very similar situation. I'm going Lucindo, Marcel. I'm taking the upside here, man. I'm going with it, man. Plus 180, I'll take that. I'm going to do it.
By the way, UFC lied on the broadcast yesterday with saying Corey McKenna is the youngest on the roster. Yasmin Lucindo is the youngest on the roster. You know, I like Lucindo, but I gotta be honest, man. Jasmine Jauregui, I like her as well. You know, I saw her fights in Combate. She's good. She's a big talent, in my opinion. You know, and so Lucindo is as well. You know, it's kind of sucks that we have to see those two against each other, and I kind of agree with the UFC putting. People will say no, but this could be a good fight. Why
These
not?
guys are good. These girls are both really good. I agree.
So, Jasmine Jauregui, I'm taking her by, I think, a decision, man. I think it will be action-packed.
Yeah.
Will be good, you know. So I'm taking a decision here for Jauregui, but Lucindo has some good upside as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if she takes it, but absolutely, I got to go with someone.
They're so young, 23 and 20. I mean, these girls are good. There's no doubt about it. You guys know who they are probably, but I think they're good. I didn't know who they were either. Gordon, Rio, only people listen to it be guys winning record. That's true, man. But I mean, watch her tape, dude. She looks pretty good to me. She's only 20 years old, Glenn. She's 20 years old. Like, and she has 17 fights. Like, I don't know, man. I think there's something here. Again, the other girl's undefeated. She's definitely good. There's no doubt about it. But I like Lucindo. I think there's a chance she can win this one. So plus 180, I'll take it. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We got Nunes against Cynthia Calvillo. Another fight where that got moved. So, this fight, I mean, I don't know if my thoughts really changed, although Nunes did have that, like, stomach bug thing, which is why the first fight got canceled last month. She takes on Cynthia Calvillo here. The odds are basically the same as they were. Minus 150 Calvillo, plus 130 Nunes. Honestly, Marcel, I'm still like on the fence about this fight, but I'll still lean Nunes. That was my initial lean, but it's still a fight I'm betting on. I'm passing completely, especially after getting canceled and moved. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Calvillo's gonna have a tough weight cut? I mean, she looked like she had a hard weight cut the last time. Now she's due to get a month later. I don't know. What do you think, man? Did your thoughts change at all?
It's possible, but no, I'm still going with Calvillo. I think her ground game is way too good for Nunes, to be really honest. And I think this is a good style matchup for Nunes goes to 125 here, where Calvillo was already at 125. I think it's a good matchup for her, you know, as long as she gets to the ground. And I expect her to get it to the ground. I think she wrestled Foxer for 3 rounds decision.
Yeah, well, our thoughts didn't really change. Okay, let's go to the next fight here. Devin Clark against Azamat Murzakanov. The mercenary Marcel with the cheat code. That's what we call him, right? He's got that cheat code power. No, this should be a decent fight. It's actually the professional, not the mercenary. I don't know why I said that. You got the brown bear against the professional. Odds for this one: Murzakanov minus 175, Clark plus 150. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this one, man.
It's actually difficult, because Murzakanov, we know he's undefeated. But if you look at his fight against Tafon and Chukwi, he was behind on the scorecards, I think, in 2 rounds. And then he got the flying knee knockout. Mm-hmm. Like you said, the cheat code, like the Paul Craig cheat code with the KO instead of the submission, Devin Clark against William Knight had a tough first round, but came back really good, knocked him out in the 3rd round. The thing with Devin Clark is he's super inconsistent. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He always gives it them all, but he's super inconsistent. Against Murzakanov, Murzakanov is the favorite, probably, right?
Not? Yeah, he's the favorite, minus 175.
Yeah, that's what I expected. But I'm not sure that Murzakanov is going to win here, dude, because Clark has the power to put him away, I think. Will it happen? I don't know. If I feel like both guys can knock each other out, but if you go with a decision, I go with Clark. You know what I mean? So I'm still in doubt about this fight. I slightly lean towards Clark, but I can still change.
There you go. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. I'm really surprised you took him because you always take the Russian guy, like almost always. Yeah, I mean, it's a good fight. I think they're both obviously solid fighters. Clark's, can surprise at times. Like the last fight with Knight looked great. I mean, you can really surprise, but like you said, Marcel, inconsistent. I'm still not completely sold on him having like a good chin and stuff. And Azamat just can destroy you with one punch, one flying knee, whatever. The cheat code he's got in his back pocket, Marcel, when he needs to pull it out, he can pull out that cheat code. He can get to the pause menu, put his cheat code in, and then win the fight. So, I mean, until this guy loses, I'm not going to pick against him. I'm going to take Azamat versus Murzakanov. I think he can knock him out, Clark. But again, it is a harder fight than some of the other ones because of the grappling of Clark. So, it should be an interesting fight, though. Murzakanov, though, by knockout. But some of you guys like Clark, and I don't blame you because, I mean, his grappling is really good, and he is a tough dude. But I've seen him get dropped too many times, Marcel. I'm just worried about that. So, yeah. All right, let's go to the next one here. Gerald Mearshart taking on Bruno Silva in the UFC middleweight division, Marcel. And this should be I think this is, you criticize the card, I understand, but I think this fight's actually pretty good. I mean, they're always good fights.
I agree.
Yeah. Odds right now, Bruno Silva minus 280, Gerald Mearshart GM3 plus 235. So Silva's a big favorite, Marcel. Do you agree with that?
No. Not a big favorite, definitely not. Because I think Silva doesn't have a good ground game. And Mearshart has a good ground game. So there's a thing. Of course, he has to get it to the ground first. It's always something. The thing is, if Mearshart can get it to the ground, I think he can finish Silva there. I think if he doesn't get it to the ground, Silva probably knocks him out. That's pretty much how I expect to go. But I'm kind of surprised that so many people are so convinced that Silva are going to win this easily. I saw it everywhere like, oh, easy win for Silva. I was like, why would it be an easy win for Silva? I think it can go either way. It depends pretty much on how Silva's takedown defense is, because Mearshart definitely is going to go try to get the fight to the ground. If he doesn't get it to the ground, he gets knocked out, I think. I still think Silva wins, but I'm going with the knockout for first round, I think. I think Mearshart tries to get him to the ground. I think Silva maybe gets Silva to the ground. I think maybe he stands him up and he shoots again and he knocks him out maybe. That's what I expect. So first round, knockout for Silva, but don't be surprised if Mearshart pulls off a submission.
I think he knocks him out too. I like Bruno Silva in this fight. I mean, listen, Gerald's obviously a veteran. He's a guy that I like. He's a good dude, but we've seen him get knocked out many times, Marcel, and this guy has got crazy power. And again, Marcel, I know you disagree with me, but I think his stock looks better now after that Pereira fight where he actually went the distance with the guy who's fighting for the belt now, who could be a champion in 2 months' time. So I don't know. I think Bondad was good, man. If he's got power, he's got some improving ground game, in my opinion. And I think this is a bad matchup with Gerald Mearshart. I think he knocks him out, Marcel. The only way Gerald wins is if he survives that first round, is able to kind of take it over late and wins in the third round by submission, which he's did before, right? But like you can't count on that happening, in my opinion. So Bondad by knockout, that's my pick. I agree completely, George. I think his loss doesn't look bad at all. His sprawl looked good in that fight and everything. So I think, Perez did, but his game looked good. He was doing okay. He lost, but he didn't look that bad compared to some of the other guys Perez fought. Azamat's not bad, but he's in his mid-30s, right? So I don't know how high his ceiling is. If he makes a run, he's got to do it now, in my opinion. So Sure my sub, maybe, possibly. So or Knockout GM3 sub. Yeah, I agree. I think there's only two ways this fight really ends. Would love to see Mearshart get another comeback. I mean, he's did it before. Who's the fighter in the most hot water of this card, in your opinion, the close to getting cut? Oh, that's a good question. That's a great question. I mean, if Jason Witt fights, I think if he probably loses. Gets cut if he loses again. Charlie Ontiveros. Who? Sorry? Cachoeira maybe, but she's won 3 of her last 4 fights by knockout, so I'm not sure. Ontiveros 100% is getting cut if he loses, I would say, right? Maybe Benitez too if he loses. I don't know. There's a couple guys, but it's not as bad as last week's. The card we just talked about. Like there was a lot of finishes in that one.
You would normally say Angela Hill, but they loved her so much that I don't think they would cut her even if she loses.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Hill. I got a question here. What's up, Mosh Pit? What's going on? Where's the first recap episode? Yeah, we just finished it at like half an hour ago. It should be on the channel. Let me double check it's there. But
you can't find it on YouTube, just go to MMA Breakers website. It's there.
It is there. I'm looking right now. It's there.
Okay.
So it's there, but if not, just go to our my Twitter or Marcel's. But it's there. I'm looking at it right now, so it's on the site. It's on the channel. Sakai done. He's done. Yeah, it's there, man. I'm looking at it right now. I'll show you. Let me just pull it up here, Marcel. I want to help the guy out here.
Yeah, if he goes to my Twitter or your Twitter, you will find it, man.
Sure, but it's right here. I mean, I'm looking at it on the site.
Okay.
There it is. If you go right here, just go to videos. It's right here. That's the one we just did. So remember, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. It's not my channel, it's Nick's channel, but like we're trying to grow it. And we're at almost 4,000 subscribers now. That's not too bad. So getting up there. All right. No problem, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you listening, dude. All right, let's go to the next fight, Marcel. We only have a couple left here to go through. Next fight, guys, David Onama against Nate Landwehr. So fun fight here, Marcel. And I think this fight was booked for the Columbus card a few months ago, and then they rebooked it for this. So it's interesting because Onama just fought a few weeks ago. He's taking another fight so quickly. Minus 195 for Onama, plus 165 Landwehr. What were you going to say?
I want to reply to MMA Mushbet. This is, by the way, the last Sunday episode.
No, there's one more. We're doing next week, too.
No, we don't do next week.
Why?
I told you next week we're going to do a Monday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, you told me the 15th, and we were like after the 15th, but it's no.
Fine. I thought the 15th we started on Monday. That's what I
see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I guess I was confused about that.
Sorry.
We'll talk about that at the end of the thing. That's fine. Okay. No worries. All right. Give me your thoughts on the fight, man.
I'm pretty convinced. Yeah. I'm pretty convinced in Onama, dude. To be really honest, Nate Landwehr, he's a fun fighter to watch, but. I was really impressed by him, gotta say, against Ludovic Klein last time out. I didn't expect that at all. I think Ludovic was probably the biggest favorite on that card. So that was really unexpected. But in all those other fights he fought Burns, he got knocked out. He fought Erosa, got knocked out. And even the Elkins fight, he won by unanimous decision. I thought Elkins won 2 rounds, you know what I mean? So, yeah. I really like David Onama, what I saw so far from him. Even in his loss against Mason Jones, he did very well, I think. I think his ceiling is way higher than Landwehr, in my opinion. I'm taking David Onama here, taking him by a decision win.
I mean, how do you not take Onama? I'm surprised you're taking decision because, like, all his wins are by stoppage. I know Landwehr's, like, kind of tough, but he's been finished 3 times. I think he knocks him out, Marcel. I'm not getting off the Onama train, guys. Like, this guy's an absolute monster, and he's gonna win this fight, man, for sure. Give me David Onama. Yeah, no, it wasn't really arguing. We weren't on the same page there. I know what Marcel's saying though. I was just confused with what he was saying. We'll talk about that after, but we're switching to podcast time. That's the thing, right? So,
we're cool, guys.
We're cool. We got our wires crossed on that one. That's okay. Let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. Wait, let's see. Losing to Mace Jones is better than beating Klein.
It's
completely different fights though, and it was a short
notice
too.
Yeah, it's not better, but it's like you got to make a choice, And I think Onama looked really good in that fight on 4 or 5 days' notice.
Yep.
And I was impressed by Landwehr against Ludovic Klein.
Yep.
But overall in this UFC tenure so far, I really haven't been, besides that fight. So that's why you got to make a choice,
Yeah, it's just that, remember, Onama and Jones was at 155. Now Onama's at 145. Landwehr and Klein was at 145. Now Klein's at 155. Just remember that. Like, the weight classes are important to keep in mind, MMA math also doesn't work. Now, Could Nate Landwehr win this fight? Maybe, but I'm just very high on Nama Marcel. So I know what the guy's saying. I think it's a fair point. Like the way Landwehr beat Klein was super impressive, but it was such a big upset, Marcel. I just don't know if he can pull it off 2 times in a row. Like I'd be surprised if he won this fight. I actually think Onama could be a bigger favorite. So that's my thoughts. Onama went up for that Jones fight short notice. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And he did well, except he got taken down by a bigger guy. That's the thing, right? So that's why I like him in this fight. But Nate Landwehr's decent. He's not bad. And he won his last fight. He looked great. All right, let's get to the main event here. Marlon Vera against Dominick Cruz. Odds for this one, minus 195 Vera, plus 165 Cruz. Marcel, give me your pick.
Yeah, Marcel, give me your pick. This is as easy as you say, like, give me your pick. I think Vera's on the upside right now. He's doing very well. It's very good against Rob Font. Really surprised me. The funny thing is that Rob Font actually didn't look bad in that fight at all, but he got clipped such a many times in that fight, and got so much damage. Vera did very well. If you look at Cruz, 2-fight win streak, good wins in my opinion, but man, it's like it's in front of his home crowd. This one, how much weight does that weigh? I don't know. Does it work for him? Does it work against him? I don't know. If this is in front of if this is in Vegas, I pick Vera without a doubt. But does this put an extra fire under Cruz that is in front of his home crowd? He knows this fight. If he wins this fight, he's completely back in the mix for the bantamweight title. Asked me this fight 4 years ago. I'm going blindly with Cruz, but right now I can't go against Vera, man. How he looked lately, I can't go against him. And Cruz is getting older as well. I respect him a lot. He's still the bantamweight goat in my opinion. Yeah, I'm taking Marlon Chito Vera. Is he finishing him? I don't think so. I'm going with the decision win for Vera here.
I have the same read. I like Chito in this fight, and I think he wins the decision too. Like Cruz is still durable and hard to hit and hard to finish. I mean, Cejudo did it, but other than that, he's really hard to finish. Vera is just a beast, man, and he looked amazing, obviously, in the last fight. He did get hit a lot. We should keep that in mind, but the fight-changing power was something to behold. And he's kind of got that cheat code going a little bit too, Marcel, like that Edgar fight where he was getting, out grappled and pulls off that front kick. And some of these fights, man, like he's just impressive. Like he's not perfect. He's got issues in his game still. Like he's not a perfect fighter, but I think he's catching Cruz at a good time. I know Cruz is fighting in front of his hometown, obviously, and his fans will all be there and stuff, but I don't think it'll be enough, Marcel. I'd like Vera to win this fight. I'm with you completely. I think Chito wins the fight. I think it'll be a competitive fight, but I think he'll win the unanimous decision at the end of 3 rounds. Maybe a split decision, but I think it'll be unanimous. That's my thoughts on that. Anything else on this card, man? On this UFC San Diego card? Anything else you want to mention, or are you good to go for this card?
Yeah, nothing at this moment, man. But
cool. This one's not. Oh, it's at the Apex. Yeah, sorry. It's in San Diego. I agree, Glenn. They needed a better co-main event. Like I told Marcel, I think it was off air. Why was Jeff Neal and Vicente Luque in the Apex? That fight needed fans. That could have easily been on this card. Just
but I mean, Luque is fighting out of Florida, right? And Jeff Neal's fighting out of Texas. So they could have easily do this on the San Diego card, and it would have been I think nobody would have complained. But if they had Alexa Grasso there, I think they were like, if we put Alexa Grasso there, she's a fan favorite against Araujo. It's a good co-main event, Yeah. But when that falls off, you're fucked. You only have one worthy main event fight. And you gotta hope these two stay healthy until Saturday. Because listen, dude, if Vera Cruz falls off the card, they're gonna have to give probably the tickets or the how do you say that, the money back to the fans, because there will be many people in attendance for Cruz there. So yeah,
let's just hope that doesn't happen.
Of course, we hope it doesn't happen. Obviously.
Who are you gonna pick between Grasso and Araujo? I was gonna ask you that.
Oh shit, man, that's
it was a hard one to call. I was gonna pick Grasso though, but
I kind of lean her way as well, but I wouldn't be surprised with Araujo. In my opinion, Araujo got screwed against Shukagian,
Yeah, she did. She should have won that fight. The other fight got canceled was Ladd and McMahon. I thought McMahon could have won that fight too, to be honest with you. Like, I just don't trust Ladd, but I think that one might be rebooked, right? Yeah.
It's rebooked, yeah.
Yeah.
September 17th in the Apex.
Let me get some comments. San Diego's a large Mexican presence. Grasso is coming in for sure. He's just saying now that fight's off, like if Vera Cruz gets off, like they don't have a main event at all. Like that's the problem, right? So
that's the thing, yeah.
There's flat-footed when he strikes much harder than Cruz. No, I agree completely with that too. I mean, Cruz moves well. I just think I don't know, man. I think Vera's like on the upside, Cruz on the decline, kind of. I know Cruz has won his last 2 fights, but I'm just not convinced he's still a contender.
Adam,
what?
I gotta be honest, dude. The cards that are lined up for August, man, name value are underwhelming. The pay-per-view is underwhelming as well.
Only one more card after this. It's just the 278, right? I believe.
Yeah, it's underwhelming in my opinion, dude. I mean, July had pretty stacked cards in my opinion. Name value. I know name value doesn't say anything always, but still, I mean, you got Tyson Pedro or Harry Huntsucker on the fucking pay-per-view opener. I mean, how, why? And after that, you got Romanov Tibura. I understand that those are 2 ranked heavyweights, but it's also not like huge. And in my opinion, Jose Aldo should co-headline against Dvalishvili and not Rockhold against Costa. I don't even know if Costa still can make 185,
Yeah, no, I agree with that. All right, let's get to contender series, Marcel. We'll break down this card really quick, guys. We'll go through it. Okay, so we'll start off with the main event. Bo Nickel, minus 1250 against Zach Borrego, plus 800. I mean, Bo Nickel's going to win. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, Marcel. This guy is legit grappler, and then obviously he's got power too, man. You've seen that as well. So Borrego, he's got a little bit more experience as a pro, but, I mean, if you look at his amateur fights, he's been finished a couple times. There's a reason the odds are like this, man. I think Bo Nickel dominates this guy, knocks him out, gets in the UFC. What do you think?
Honestly, man, I think there's going to be an easy win for Borrego. No, just kidding, man. I think Nickel is going to win.
I was like, what?
No, I think Bo Nickel is going to win.
Yeah, no, he should win. Paulo Bernardo Jr. against Jamal Pogues. Pogues is taking a short notice to Kyle Machado. It's off the card, so that's interesting. Pogues actually is favored, though, minus 285. Bernardo Jr. plus 240. I'm surprised that the odds are so heavy considering he's taking a short notice more. So what do you think about that?
I think Pogues is a better fighter overall, so I agree with Pogues being the favorite here. I think many people are like Paulo Renato, he has a better record, but if you see who fought who, I think Pogues has a better opposition. I'm going with Pogues here as well.
Pogues has fought contender. He won, decision didn't get signed. He hasn't fought in 2 years, though. That's the only concern I have here. Like, it's a long layoff, right? And short notice, but I would just stay away from it. It's a heavyweight fight with a lot of, like, weird variables. I wouldn't bet on this fight, personally. Let's go to the next fight here. Anvar Boy Nazarov against Eric Silva. Not that Eric Silva, another Eric Silva. And Eric Silva minus 145, Boy Nazarov plus 125. Any pick here?
Many people will favor Boy Nazarov because he's a kickboxer and coming from Glory.
Yep.
Eric Silva is winning this fight, guys. I think he's a much better ground game than Anvar Boy Nazarov. I'm taking Eric Silva here.
I'm with you on this one, man. I think Eric Silva is someone you got to look for a bet here because it's MMA, it's not kickboxing, and he has a really good ground game. There's no doubt this guy has the other guy has power, striking, everything, but Marcel, it's MMA, and this guy is won almost all his fights by submission in the Lux Fight League. Better competition, in my opinion, as well in MMA. I think Eric Silva's got a good line here, minus 145. I'm surprised it went down because he opened at minus 300, and it's halfway now, so not really sure why the odds are getting the way they are, but I like Eric Silva and Marcel. I mean, it's the one guy I would look at for sure for a bet. Clayton Carpenter against Edgar Charez. Clayton Carpenter minus 285, Charez plus 240. And Carpenter should win. He's another guy that I think wins on this card too. I like him a lot. You like him?
Me too. Even his nickname, Clayton Concrete Carpenter. That's amazing. Triple C. So, I'm taking Clayton Carpenter here as well. I think he has more upside than Edgar Charez. I think Charez also took this fight on short notice, right? Or am I mistaken?
Let me double check that. I think there might have been a short notice. Let me double check.
This fight got placed. They were supposed to fight earlier, I think, and it's got placed on this card now.
Yeah.
That's what I think it was.
Yeah. Last fight here, we got Carolina Wojcik against Sandra Lovato. Don't know a lot about these girls, I'll be honest with you. Both similar records, 8-2 versus 10-2. KSW fighter here versus Kambache. I don't know, Marcel. This one's a real toss-up. I guess I would just go with the odds and take Wojcik, but I mean, I don't know. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going with Wojcik as well, man. I think she's decent. I saw her fights in KSW. Nothing super excited, but just a decent fighter, I think. And I expect her to win here. A decision win again.
Cool.
We'll be close. Maybe even the split decision. She's been in many split decisions. So yeah,
for sure. Okay, let's do Bellator really quick. Marcel, Bellator at 284. We'll just do some of the bigger fights in this card. Pull it up here. Main event, Marcel Goiti Yamauchi against Demon Gracie. And right now we have Gracie minus 170, Yamauchi plus 140. It's an interesting fight. It's at 170. Yamauchi, I'm still not completely sold on that weight class, but I don't know. I think he could pull it off personally. I mean, Gracie's decent, but I'm not convinced he's like super, super good either, because he's lost 3 of the last 5 Olympic competition. I guess I would lean Gracie slightly more so, but it's not like a real confident pick. Yamauchi's got a ton more experience. He's been fighting more often. I think he's got a chance to win. I'm just, again, not sold him at 170. What do you think?
I think Naaman Gracie wins the fight, man, but not sure. I think Yamauchi can surprise. He can do that. Difficult to pick. I haven't been really. I haven't do research for this one really good, so I can't say for sure. But if I have to lean someone, I'm going Naaman Gracie.
Valentin Moldavsky and Steve Mowry. Moldavsky is minus 210. Mowry plus 170. Marcel, I'm going to go with Steve Mowry here, man. Undefeated. The guy, someone I've always liked. He's another, I believe, is he not a Killcliff guy? I mean, He's been training with those guys for years. Man, I've always liked this guy. This is a step up for him, but they call him, Big Tall Steve for a reason. He's a huge guy. He's looked good in Bellator. He's looked good in Titan before he came to Bellator. Moldavsky's decent, but I don't think he's great. He was a favorite in his last fight and lost too. Obviously Brian Bader. I don't know, Marcel. I think there's some upside potentially here. Give me Steve Mowry. That's my pick.
Yeah, I remember when in 2017 when Stefan Struve was fighting Volkov here in the Netherlands. He had Mowry with him, and I remember Lex McMahon telling my colleague back then at MMA DNA, like, do you want to interview this guy, Steve Mowry? He's going to be a huge star. He's a big heavyweight. He's super talented. And we expect him to become something big in the future, And I think Mowry has every talent to go far here. I'm taking him as well. I think Mowry wins here against Moldavsky.
There we go. We got a consensus underdog here, guys, on Bellator. A couple other picks here. Aliyah Lee McFarlane against Bruno Ellen. McFarlane minus 170, Ellen plus 140. I would take McFarlane, Marcel, but I wouldn't bet on her anymore because, like, hearing her talk, she's talking about not wanting to fight anymore, just wants to have a family now. She looked horrible in her last fight against Justin Kish. I don't trust her anymore. The thing is, Ellen's not that good, I would assume that McFarlane wins, Marcel. I just don't have any interest in betting on her right now because of the things I've heard her say. Any thoughts?
Yeah, it's like Ilima Lay McFarlane has to win this fight, to stay kind of relevant in the top of the division. Bruna Allen, she's decent, but she has losses against people that are better than her, And I think McFarlane should win here, but does she? That's a big thing, McFarlane. I wouldn't bet on her. I pick her, but I wouldn't bet on her.
That's fair. That's exactly how I feel. Just a couple other fights here. Just 2 more. Actually, I'll just do the Canadian guys here. Austin Vanderford fights Aaron Jeffrey. Vanderford minus 150, Jeffrey plus 130. Marcel, or actually the odds changed here. Sorry, guys. They changed. The odds just went a little bit higher. Minus 205, Vanderford plus 165, Jeffrey. So they've moved since the opener. I think Aaron Jeffrey can win, Marcel. I would take a shot on Aaron Jeffrey here as an underdog. I don't think Austin Vanderford's that good at all. What do you think, Marcel? Jeffrey?
Yeah, I picked Jeffrey too, but did you really just pass over a fight between 2 fighters who speak Dutch?
I did pass over Save Sarwa and
you really did that? You really did that?
Well, we'll
those two can talk Dutch.
I just realized I missed it. Sorry, my bad. I just scrolled down a little bit too far. I was just doing the Canadian guys. I saw those flags and I completely forgot about that. Yeah, I missed Save Sarwa against Smoker and Sarah Cam. Marcel's guys. Sarah Cam minus 150, Sawa plus 120. I would favor Sawa a little bit, Marcel. I don't know. What do you think?
Same, man. I think Soma is more complete than Sarikam.
Yeah.
Sarikam's training with Musashi. He's from Team Musashi. He's actually a Belgian guy with a Turkish background, so he talks Dutch. And Soma, I never knew until like a year ago. I thought he was just I thought he was from the US, but he's apparently from Suriname and he can talk Dutch. So or he's from the Dutch. How do you say that? Like Curaçao or whatever, but somewhere. I think he's from Suriname, but he can speak Dutch as well. So it's crazy. I didn't even know. But I'm picking Soma as well, But yeah.
Yeah,
and I picked Jeffrey as well.
Surprised the underdog there. And then the only other fight I want to mention could be Josh Hill against Marcos Breno. Josh Hill minus 225, Breno plus 185. I think Josh Hill wins, right?
Oh yeah, I think he uses his ground game in this one. So
the only other thing I want to mention on this card, there's this guy in the first fight. His name's MMAOB. What kind of name is this? You see the guy I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Who is this guy? What kind of name is this?
I don't know, man. Maybe
short form or something, right? It has to be, right?
Maybe the parents when they were what should we pick? We pick a dartboard. We put all letters there. And the first one we take. I don't know. Yeah, I'm a too. I have no idea.
What a strange name. It's very bizarre. Okay, so that's it for Bellator. We're gonna do. I'll take those questions at the end, guys. Let me just do PFL quickly, and we'll do.
By the way,
go ahead.
Isn't it crazy that Justine Keys, she was defeated Lima McFarlane, and they put her on the prelims against
Diana they don't like her. They were pissed that she won that fight, I think. All right, let's go to PFL, guys. We're going to do this quickly as well. PFL 8. This is, what's weird, Marcel? Is there a reason that this is in Wales and then they're doing the card literally the exact same time as Cage Warrior, which is also in Wales? Like, whose decision was that? You're just screwing the fans there because they have to pick which card to go to. You know what I mean?
I think, by the way, it isn't one. Or I think the Cage Warriors card is early. It's like in the morning for you guys. So,
I mean, according to ESPN schedule, they're both at 12. That's what I looked at today. 12 our time.
Let me check for a second.
I have it. It says ESPN MMA schedule. They're both at 12. PFL because again the time difference, and then Cage Warriors. I'm just surprised they would do the same card or the two different cards at the same time in the same country for major promotions. That's a little weird to me. Because again, PFL usually does their events Friday. Now this is on Saturday. Do you know what I mean, Marcel? Is this a little strange to you? Like, it's like almost like they wanted to take their fans or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't get
weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Okay, so let's just go through some fights here. Warrior McDonald against Magomed Umalatov. McDonald, he is the underdog in this fight, Marcel. Plus 200, then Umalatov minus 260. I mean, Umalatov should roll. Warriors look terrible. Give me Umalatov, Marcel.
Yeah, by the way, can I say something, Adam? I feel like if you're a promotion and you do post-lims on purpose, why? I hate that when they do post-lims on purpose because most people, like the fans, are pretty much there for the main card. Let's be honest, a lot of fans. We are not. We are watching everything. A lot of fans are there for the main card. After the main event, they go home. They're not gonna watch Will Fleury against Anthony Salomon and Nate Kelly against Ben Ellis. Yeah, maybe the guys are the family members are still there, but come on, man, put that on the prelims. Make a bigger prelim show. I hate post-lims. Listen, if there is like no time frame, you have, for example, you have a 4-hour time frame, you have 8 prelims, and just one prelim can be done, and you do to post-lim. I understand that, but this is on purpose a post-lim. It's just stupid. That's my opinion.
No, I don't believe you at all. Let's go to some other fights here, though. Antidelia against Henry Ferreira. Yeah, interesting fight, right? Heavyweight semifinal. Ferreira minus 120, Delia minus 110. I would lean Ferreira, but, man, he looked terrible against Abreu. This is a weird fight, man. They're both guys coming off not great performances because I thought Delia honestly didn't look good against Graves either. Ferreira, slightly. What do you think?
They're not picking Delia, man. I think it's super difficult to pick this one here.
Yeah. Denis Goltsov against Matthias Scheffel. Goltsov minus 325, Scheffel plus 250.
What? Why?
Goltsov should win, and honestly, he's probably the favorite to win the tournament at this point, right?
Yeah, but why is Scheffel in and not Abreu?
I don't know. I'd like to know why is Abreu not in? He had 2 wins. I don't really understand why they changed their format afterwards. Like Scheffel, I know he beat Campoloza, but that doesn't mean he should get his spot. It should be the next guy in line. Also, Juan Adams had more points in the standings too. Why is he not in? I don't really understand, Marcel. It's kind of sketchy, man. I gotta be honest. Mm-hmm. Carlos Leo against Sadie Bustiz, the other fight, welterweight semifinal. Carlos Leo minus 130, C plus 100. I like Carlos Leo.
Me
what
too.
Do you think?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I think he's a good bet too, man, honestly. C is not bad, but Leo, man, that fight against Cooper, impressive as hell. I think he wins, man. He's a good fighter. UFC missed the boat on this guy. He's an LFA guy. They could have signed him. They chose not to. There's also a bunch of other fights, Marcel. One of your guys, Hatef Moel. I guess that's one of your – he's nearby. He's a German guy, Marcel. You know him. And there's a bunch of other European fighters in the card. Will Fleury, like you mentioned, and some other guys. But I'm honestly only going to watch those 4 fights. I'll just be honest with you guys. I don't really have a time.
I
ton of
think
interest in the other fights.
the only really good name as well on this card on the prelims is Mohamed Fakhreddin from Brave. He has been the middleweight champion. A very good fighter, I think. He's also the light heavyweight champion. He has 2 titles, and his only loss recently was against Azamat Murzakanov, which was for the open weight championship back then. It was crazy that he got in the final there. So that's also a guy you should take your you should watch, I think.
Hey Marcel, was Desert Force Fighting Championship, did that turn into Brave? Do you know if that was the same?
No, it's two different.
They stopped doing their events a couple years ago, eh? That promotion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure. I know that's what's his name? Munar Lazez came from that promotion. All right, let me get some comments, guys, and we'll get out of here in a few minutes. We'll just get some comments quickly, Marcel. Roberto Soljic, Henner. I'm surprised he signed with one, but I guess they gave him a really good offer, eh, Marcel? Like they must have. It's a hard fight for him, though.
And I don't think Rainier Dorado is going to fight him, to be honest.
He's going to come back to UFC? He wants to go to UFC, I mean?
I think Rainier really wants to fight for that heavyweight title. He wants to have a 3rd title in one. And I think he has a contract till the end of the year, and he wants to go to the UFC in 2023. So, yeah.
Hot take, Romanov versus Tabir in main card pay-per-view is better than Blades versus Strike. Possibly. I mean, that probably ends with Romanov being a stoppage. I bet Alan.
Also, take in mind that Rainier the Ritter is fighting at middleweight, and one championship is 205, right? So then Soldic has to go to 205 as well. I don't know what he's won.
I still think people got to keep in mind with that. You guys think Bellator champs at the moment can compare to UFC champs at the moment? I mean, I think Pitbull can beat. He beat Volk, probably not, but I mean he's competitive. I think in that fight. I'm just gonna go through them quickly. Yeah. So Pitbull, Patricio, I mean, has a chance. I think Storley and Amosov are both good, but they will probably lose to Usman for sure. Nemkov or Anderson, whoever wins the belt, maybe would be competitive at 205. They do have wins. Like, what's his name? Corey Anderson's got a win over, what's his name? Glover, right? So, I mean, he's still a good fighter, obviously. Bader, I think, wouldn't win the heavyweight belt. Johnny Evelyn's interesting because he's undefeated, but I don't know. And then you have Stotts and Pettis. I would say no, man. I think the only guy that, for me, Cyborg, obviously, too. Cyborg's definitely up there. I should mention Carmouche, Metro the champs. For me, the only one would be Patricio Pitbull. That'd be the only one I think would be comparable. Anyone for you?
No, not really, to be really honest. No, I would say, dude, if Stotts, man, I'm pretty big on Stotts, so that would be possible, but Stotts is not champion. Pettis is the champion, and I don't see Pettis winning against Sterling, to be really honest. So,
yeah. Is AJ McKee staying in lightweight? He is, yeah. He's fighting Spike Carlisle, which is a mismatch. So he should win that fight. Looking at the horizon, what fight nights you guys looking forward to the most? Man, haven't really looked far ahead from this month. Looking at this card, the next one. The Paris card could be good. I gotta look at it some more. Oh yeah, here's another fight. Baralo and Muradov. That's a good fight. I don't know. I mean, they're gonna keep adding fights to that card though. The card's getting really booked quick, eh?
Yeah.
Early UFC 278 leans from an early glance. Honestly, man, I haven't. Again, we're gonna do that next week. I haven't really looked at it too deeply yet. But I would give you Tyson Pedro as my free pick. Really going off the grain there, eh, Marcel, with Tyson Pedro against Harry Hunsucker. No, that would be the one guy.
I sent you a message, DM. Check if you.
Check it right now. Pull up my phone here. I saw that. Yeah, I saw Tom DeBlast writing about that. Leandro Lowe. I don't know him, but apparently a cop shot him or something. Yeah. That's what I'm reading. A police officer was able to. Well, a police officer apparently killed him. So I don't really know. I just saw Tom DeBlast talking, but he's another BJJ guy. Volkov Dawkins. I mean, is that a fight they're doing or something? You heard about that one? I didn't hear that one. It would make sense. All right, we'll get out of here, Marcel. But we just wanted to make it clear that So I wasn't sure what day it was, but apparently it is next week. We're gonna be starting the podcast on Mondays again, guys. So we're switching it starting August 15th. That would be the first Monday podcast again. So moving it from 10 a.m. Sunday to 5 p.m. Eastern on Monday. We'll do the two podcasts back to back. Yeah. So there's just a lot going on right now for me and for Marcel that we had to switch the time up. And we were talking about maybe later Sunday, but it just didn't make sense. It just makes it more sense to do it Monday afternoon. I think that the Sunday podcast was good for the summer, Marcel, but we
Yeah.
always do that. It might not be able to last just because of our schedules. So unfortunately, we got to switch that up. So I apologize to anyone, getting used to this time and ever going to go back to the other time. But it just made more sense for me, Marcel, at this point. So I don't anticipate another change after that. I think that would be the plan for going forward. But yeah, 5 p.m. Eastern, starting Monday, August 15th. Anything you want to say with that, Marcel?
Yeah, man. I mean, we love to do it, but you guys got to understand it's like we have a time difference of 6 hours.
Yeah.
We have stuff to do here and there. For me, it's definitely more convenient to do it later. In the summer now on Sundays, I didn't have shit to do, so I had no problem with doing it on Sundays. But now I have stuff to do. Adam has stuff to do as well on Sundays now, so
Yeah.
it's much more easier for us to do it on Monday. Before we did it on Monday and Tuesday, but now we do just 2 hours preview and recap, or recap and preview on Mondays. And guys, will be fun. We'll be the same as always, but just a different day.
Exactly. Like, again, I think the Sunday was good, but I got some stuff coming up in the fall, and Marcel just was like, let's just make the switch in August before we because we have to do it anyway. So it just made more sense. So apologies, guys, because I know some of you guys are getting used to this time, but it just makes more sense. So 5 p.m. Eastern Monday, starting August 15th, and then going forward from that. And yeah, I think that's it. We were going to say. So, hey, appreciate you guys always joining us. We got George here. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. We'll see you Monday. Thanks, Antoine. Appreciate it. So always, man. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I just got some stuff going on. Marcel's busy as well, so it's just tough getting. Marcel, it's 6 p.m. right now. He wants to go eat dinner. You know what I mean? So it's difficult. Anyways, we were open to do it. I think we had a good test run, Marcel, as we like to call it at the beginning, but now it's not going to work for a while. So Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern, back-to-back podcast as before. I'll get this last question, and we'll get out of here. What fight you want to see the most of 280? It's got to be Makhachev and Oliveira, right? It's got to be. So that's my thoughts. I think that's all I want to say today, Marcel. You want to plug yourself? Let's get out of here.
Big Marcel24, Twitter, Instagram, still chopping axe, and Eurosport.nl mixed martial arts section.
Yep, you guys can follow me on Twitter at MMAOB Podcast, MMAOB.com. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about it. I'm also at bookies.com. Got my best bets coming up this week. MyManews.com and MMAOB.com. Have a great day, guys. See you on Monday, August 15th for the next podcast, 5 p.m. Eastern. Peace.